Hi, Nadeem here for Smart Riding Gadgets. Over the past couple of months, I've noticed a trend in people looking to get new GPS units, or they think they should be buying a smart display and they're not quite sure what they're buying. And I don't really understand it because it's something you need to be sure of that is going to work for you before you go and spend the money. Now, the traditional GPS units will work offline, whereas the smart displays don't. That's the general difference, is that the smart displays need data from your phone and they act almost like a mirroring device to your phone. It's not quite like that, but for talking's sake, that's probably the best analogy that you can come up with. But a lot of people, especially in the BMWs, they're buying smart displays and then they buy them and then they try and connect the BMW Connected Ride app and suddenly find that it doesn't work. This is quite simple because there is no CarPlay or Android Auto app developed by BMW Motorrad. Therefore, it will not play on any of the displays, doesn't matter which one you buy. It's not compatible. This is a BMW issue. It's not the fault of the smart display maker. This is down to BMW because they just haven't developed a CarPlay app because they don't see the need for it. Because as far as they're concerned, you shouldn't be using Android Auto or CarPlay on a bike because both those systems are designed for cars. That's why it's called CarPlay. And Android Auto, that's the name is automobiles and cars. That's why. Now, before you buy any smart displays, even if you want to use CarPlay or Android Auto, you need to be sure that the apps that you specifically want to use are available for your system. For instance, on CarPlay, you can get Calimoto. Now here on this Chiggy unit here, you can see Calimoto is here. It's already there. They have a CarPlay app, but they do not have an Android Auto app. And a lot of guys buy the system and then find out afterwards that they can't use Android Auto to get Calimoto, and then they get pissed off and then they want to sell the units and they end up selling them for half the price they bought them for just to get rid of them. It's a circle a lot of people seem to be going round and round. I would suggest that you just go into Google and just type in whichever app you're looking for instance, Calimoto, Android Auto. You put that in and it will come back and it'll tell you whether there's an Android Auto app for it, or if it's CarPlay, type in CarPlay. Now, most of the apps that I use are available on iOS. So, I'm using Waze, Calimoto, Apple Maps, Google Maps. For music and stuff, I use Apple Music, and I use for books, I like Audible, which is Amazon. So it's Audible Books, and they have a CarPlay and an Android Auto app, I think. But the things that I want to use are available, but they may not be available for what you want to use. So check that first. Now, the other thing you need to decide is which unit is best for you. And that's not a simple answer either. It depends on what you're doing. Now, if you've got a BMW and you've got an S1000XR or a GS or GS Adventure from the liquid cooled ones, I think, onwards, right up to from the 1200s to the 1300s, then the Chiggy AIO5 for BMW is the best unit if you have a BMW bracket. Now, if you have an RT 1200, 1250 or whatever, they will work, but to make the data from the display, for the rev counter and everything else, your speed and everything to appear on this, you need another module that will connect in under your seat. But on the GSs and the XR, it's just plug and play. So you get all the data from your bike and you get CarPlay or Android Auto. And for that reason, for those bikes, it's simply the best unit. It's also one of the highest quality units available. And if that's what you have, then I'd suggest you save up a bit longer and spend the money on this. It is more expensive, but it is better, So if that's the case, you really should buy the Chiggy AIO5 for BMW. Now, if you don't have a BMW or you're not concerned with that, there are other units. For instance, this one is mounted here onto my mirror stock is the Alien Rider M2 Pro system. Now, I've got this as well because I'm testing various units all the time, and at any given time, I've usually got 3 or 4 units lying around. And this is one of the best units that I have found, because this isn't just a smart display, it's also got front and rear cameras. It's got a blind side detector. It's got tire pressure monitor, so you can put them on to onto the wheels themselves, and it gives you the tire pressures. And with the entire thing combined, it's a very, very good unit. With all the things that it will do for you, it's fantastic. Now, a lot of the time, I will just ride with the camera on this, just showing me what's coming up behind me and stuff. In any case, the blindside detectors will tell me on the display, it will show me at either side, left or right, and on the bottom where the danger is. If there's something approaching me from whichever end, it will flash up here, and it will automatically cut to the back camera. But because I'm using 2 units, I use this one just for the cameras mainly most of the time. I mean, I've got 2 separate mobile phones, and both of them connect to these units. So I can use maps on both of them if I feel like doing it. A lot of time I will do that just to compare, say, Apple Maps against Google Maps or Waze or whatever, and see what routes it comes up with, just out of interest. But if you've not got a BMW, then probably I would recommend the M2 Pro system, because you can get all of this stuff with the blindside detectors and the cameras and the tire pressure monitors for roughly the same price as just the Chiggy, which is just a unit on its own. But this is something that you need to decide whether it suits you or not. Now, again, going back to the beginning, you need to make sure that you want a smart display and that's what you want to use it for. I mean, if you're riding off-road and you do, like you're going to cross a desert or whatever, or you're very much off-road for a couple of 100 miles, then probably this isn't the best thing for you. Then the GPS is better, because you will get satellite signal no matter where you are, and it will be able to guide you. This is more limited in that sense. I mean, personally, I've got the Sat-Nav 6, the BMW unit, and if I've not had the issue yet where I've gone into an area where I can't get signal at all, if I do, then I would switch to that. So even then, I mean, you can use both. Like I said, I mean, you can mount this here and have your Nav 6 there, or a different nav unit, your TomTom, a Garmin, or whatever. That's up to you. But please be sure of what you need and what you're buying. These systems are very, very good, but they're of no use to you if you don't want to listen to music, you don't want to, have different apps and stuff, you don't want to do any of those things, then you don't need it. So have a careful think about what you want, what apps you want to use before you buy any units. Thanks.